Hello everyone, so I was watching this video by CG Matter where he made a soft body simulation, but I was very blown away by it because it was so many objects at the same time being calculated in Blender. It did it in a way it's so much easier for the computer to calculate. So normally what one would do is add cylinders, for example, and then add a soft body simulation, then a collision to the plane. It would play, but then you have to turn off goal. So we can do this at the same time by pressing Alt and clicking on that thing. So it obviously needs more geometry, but again, with more geometry means the computer will have to do more calculations. Okay, you can just add an edge and then duplicate it. It can be in the same object and everything. You can subdivide it like that, give it a soft body, then goal, and turn on self collision. For the self collision, each vertex has its own ball, and then this will be the colliding area. So now you can just play, and you can see how smooth it is, how easy and how fast it's basically real time. Now the thing is, how do we turn this into cylinders? That's where geometry nodes comes in. You add a geometry node set up in here. We're basically going to convert this into a curve. So we're gonna do mesh to curve, and then we're gonna do curve to mesh, so we can turn it curve to mesh, so we can turn it into a real cylinder. We're gonna take a curve circle and set it as a profile curve. Let's use this scale, and we can figure out the scale by going to the last frame and then checking where they collide or not. And I'm just gonna eyeball it, and it's like this. Okay, somewhat like this. We can fill the caps, so we can already see here what is happening. It's a very nice effect. We can also, okay, now we can tell that it looks very low poly. But for this, we can just add a subdivision surface before everything, and it looks 100 times better now. And again, you can do this with very detailed mesh, but the real thing that is happening here, it's taking only 4 vertices for each object and calculating those 4 vertices, and then you're transforming it into a very detailed mesh. Now the funny thing about this is that you can duplicate this, press Shift R to repeat the last action, and make this a lot of these. Now all you gotta do is press play. You're still getting 24 seconds per frame, and it's like real time, as I said before. So now to have this gummy look, all that it's left to do is add some sugar around every mesh. We can do a discrete points on faces. And connect this, join geometry. And there you go. Now we can do an instance on points with this, but I feel like it will make it somewhat slower. We're just going to use the points really. They look round and they look clean. We're going to set it to Poisson disk, set a high density. We can also set the point radius, set it to a lower value. Actually, we can do a random value in here, so we get different sizes. Let's just not make it too big and not too small. So something like that will work. something like this will work. I'm gonna set it to 0.025. That's good. Now that all that's left to do is add a material. We can add 2 materials like this. We're not adding a symmetry in this part because if we were to do that, it would be adding the same material for both the sugar and the gummies, and we do not want that. So for the gummies, I'm gonna add a material called gummy and set it here, and then add a new material, set it right here, and we're gonna call it sugar. For the sugar, I'm basically doing low roughness and the transmission a very high value. And for the gummy, what I'm gonna do is basically add a mix shader, add a diffusion, add a diffuse BSDF, and connect to the mix shader. Also add a RGB, so we can then set it in here. So we can now set both of the colors of the principal BSDF and diffuse BSDF. And set it to a brown. You can set it to what color you want really. I'm gonna set it to a brown color now. Now you can play around with the diffuse. What you can also do is add some. We can also do is play with the subsurface. So this radius of the subsurface by default is for skin. We're gonna set it to 111. We're gonna set it to a high scale and then more weight. There you go. It was on the left side. So we got the diffuse. Now for the sugar right now, I don't know what is happening. We need more transparency. Maybe a bit more roughness. Just like that. Okay. We can make the point smaller. Now, of course, you can set a different color. Oh, this looks good. Now you can play your render and render it. Perfect. That's it for today. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe.